so it's sort of all tied together. Yeah,
Lord God, I just want to thank you for blessing our community, Lord. And Lord, I just want to pray for each leader in this area, Lord, that they grant them wisdom as they make decisions that is in everyone's best interest. And Lord, just please, I pray for our city employees that you watch and guide them. Ask in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Sharon, would you like to lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Nancy, will you call roll, please?
Allie Sugg. Here. Paul Williams.
Hey.
Sharon Williams.
Here.
Sorry. Louis Short.
Here.
Jim Lake.
Yes.
Paula Sworn.
Yes.
Casey Griffin.
Here.
And Louis Lynch. Chris Foster.
Here.
Paul Muse. And Sherry Winsmore. And the press.
They're not here. Let the record show we have a quorum. Would you all please silence your cell phones? First item on the agenda, waive the reading and approve minutes as presented from December 19th City Council meeting.
I move we approve them.
Second.
Any discussions? Nancy?
Jim Lake.
Yes.
Allie Sugg.
Yes.
Louis Short.
Yes.
Sharon Williams.
Abstain.
Casey Griffin.
Yes.
Chris Foster.
Yes.
Paula Sworn.
Yes.
Motion carried. Next item is the approval of payments journal for the month of December 2019. Do we have a motion?
Make a
So
motion.
moved.
Approve the payments journal. Second.
Paula Sworn.
Yes.
Louis Short.
Yes.
Sharon Williams.
Yes.
Casey Griffin.
Yes.
Allie Sugg.
Yes.
Jim Lake.
Yes.
Chris Foster.
Yes.
Motion carried. Next item is the approval of street sanitation, general, community center O&M, and miscellaneous funds for the month of December 2019. Entertain a motion to accept.
So moved.
Second.
Nancy?
Paula Sworn.
Yes.
Chris Foster.
Yes.
Casey Griffin.
Yes.
Louis Short.
Yes.
Sharon Williams.
Yes.
Jim Lake.
Yes.
Allie Sugg.
Yes.
Motion carried. Next item, you have the supervisor's reports in your packets. Do you have any questions for the supervisors?
I have a request. We don't get our packets until like a week before the meeting. So if there's something going on, can we have it like the month before that it's happening? Because there's been a couple things that I wanted to go to, but I didn't know about it until after it happened. Like events.
From us?
Yeah,
Recreation
Like what?
usually.
like Parks and Rec. Sometimes
What-
Charlie
what-
has something at the airport.
What have you missed from us?
Just some events that y'all had.
Okay,
You used to do a whole calendar for us.
we still do, but we just probably.
Yeah.
Is it on the back?
We normally put the 30-day calendar.
Oh, okay.
It might not have got in there this time.
Okay.
I'll make sure it gets in
Yeah, sometimes it's after the event. Like we get it
After it's happened.
After it's happened.
Yeah, Charlie had something at the airport. I was like, oh, if I'd have known they were having the lunch, I'd have gone, but it already happened.
Those are some good lunches too.
I know, I've been to one. Barbecue, good.
It's on the website.
How come I didn't know about that?
See? Yeah, a month in advance.
Give it to you.
Any other questions for the supervisor?
Yeah, Charlie, I got a couple phone calls about how many trees and how far you're going around the airport.
Well, if we talk specifically about rock or trouble,
Yeah.
we're taking down all the trees we're gonna take out.
Okay,
So we're just kind of cleaning up over there. Hopefully we'll be able to bush hog that this year. The logs will be removed and the brush will be burned.
And Charlie, the reason for those trees coming out, that was part of Garver's,
Yeah,
that was part of our
that-
grant.
That was a project that was attached to our runway rehab project last year. But if they wanted to break it into two funding projects, if that makes any sense. So we got that money last year to do the runway proper. And then, and we got that in 18, and in 19, they came back and gave us the money to do the clearing. But it was all a part of the same overall project.
thank you.
And that is for approach visibility.
Yes, nothing can get up in what we call the avigation easement. That extends off each end of the runway. No trees were, they were in the easement, so they had to come down.
Thank you. Anybody else? Old business, there is none. Next item is a resolution for our procedures of our council meetings. Y'all have that in your packets. It describes the meeting, establishment of the conduct of our meetings here at the council. Has anybody got any questions or recommendations?
I have a question or a recommendation.
Okay.
It smells in here.
Well, I tell you, Lisa and I,
Can we move the meeting somewhere else?
we are gonna have, I think, the rest of our meetings at the community center. But now, come summertime, you won't have that smell. It's only because of our heater. We've had smoke tests done, we've had plumbers crawl all over here. We've, and sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
Because I don't have a very sensitive nose until I come in here.
Yeah, this will do it. So we would, I think the community center would be better anyway.
I mean,
It's
I know what sewer gas
nicer
smells
facility.
like, and that's what it is.
Yeah,
Sewer gas.
that's what it smells
Got a
like.
dead rat in one of the
You gotta-
ducts.
But I'm not so sure it's not we'll discuss that later. But yeah, we'll move our meetings.
Well, it's not one of us, okay?
So do we need to change something in here regarding that? Because it says.
Nah, well, it may, I don't know if it states city hall or.
Yeah, city
Yes.
council room.
Yes. City
Well, it wouldn't
council.
make any difference in the way the meetings are held.
No.
But it's in its resolution. But I do have, does anybody want to change seating? Are you satisfied where you sit? That's the only thing I can.
As long as I'm indoors, I don't.
I don't
If
care
you're
where I sit.
unhappy, okay.
I don't
I just
care
want,
either.
somebody wanted to sit somewhere else, I want to make sure that.
No, this end of the table and you on that end is great.
Okay.
What? Mr. Lewis, you.
Hey, I'm sitting close to this door right here, I couldn't say something.
Nancy, do we need to change
Will the next
anything
meeting be then
on
at the
this?
community center?
Resolution as far
We're
as
trying to figure
location?
that out.
Do you think?
You need to make that known to the
Do you see
public.
where in the section 5? Well, I
I would
guess,
say,
well, no, section 1.
I would say it needs to say either
Yeah.
or
There you go.
instead
Yeah, that
of
would
one
cover
or
it,
the
yeah.
other.
Yep.
It needs to be one or the other.
That'll work.
Because it could be here sometime. You never know. They could be having something we can't have.
Right.
I would say either or.
Okay.
You need to make sure you get it on your Facebook page, just so the public
We
knows
will.
where it's gonna
Where
be.
it's
Yeah, we
gonna be
will.
each time, it'll
Yeah.
say.
As far as the way we run the meetings, I'm gonna move we accept and use the same method we've been using all these years.
With the change of,
Well, there may be a change in the meeting, but not in the way we hold the
it's
meeting.
still in this resolution, so it still has to be a change.
Right, we have to do it every year.
Yep, yes,
Yeah,
Jim.
we need to, yeah, go ahead and vote on that. Yeah, we need to read this, resolution as well,
I'll read it.
okay?
Can you read it? Is it, what's the 2020 what?
01.
01.
Resolution 2020-01. A resolution establishing procedures for the conduct of meetings of the Heber Springs City Council. Whereas Arkansas Code annotated 14-43-401A1C requires that the governing body of the City of Heber Springs, Arkansas, determine the rules of its proceedings during the first meeting in January. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Heber Springs, Arkansas, Section 1, meetings of the City Council of the City of Heber Springs, Arkansas shall be held in the council room or community center at City Hall, 1001 West Main Street, Heber Springs, Arkansas, or the community street, which is 201 Bobby G. Lane. However, nothing shall preclude the relocation of meetings, regular or special, to an alternate location. Notice will be given to the public at least 7 days in advance in the event of scheduled relocation. All meetings of the City Council, regular or special, will be recorded in accordance with Arkansas Code 25-19-106. Section 2, regular meeting of the Heber Springs City Council will be held the third Thursday of each month beginning at 6 p.m. Special meeting times and locations will be posted on the door of the Heber Springs Council Room and as otherwise required. Section 3, an agenda shall be prepared by the Heber Springs City Clerk for every regular and special meeting of the City Council. The agenda shall contain any item of business that any member of the Heber Springs City Council or the mayor presents for inclusion on the agenda. Any item of business to be included will be submitted with a brief written explanation for the requested consideration to the city clerk no later than 4 p.m. on the Wednesday prior to the regular meeting date. Agendas for special meetings will be prepared with the consideration of the requirement for public notice. Agendas shall be delivered by mail or other means to members of the City Council, mayor, and press no later than 7 days prior to the meeting date. Section 4. Notwithstanding the foregoing subsection of this ordinance, the City Council may, by a majority vote of the members present, elect to place any matter before the City Council for consideration at that meeting. Section 5. The City Clerk shall place any items of business to be before the members of the Heber Springs City Council on the agenda under the appropriate category according to the following order of business. Items under new business which are not resolved are to be again placed under old business until resolution. A, call to order. B, pledge of allegiance. C, roll call. D, motion to waive the reading of the minutes and approval of minutes. E, approval of payments. F, financial statements. G, supervisor reports. H, old business. I, new business. J, open mic. K, announcements. L, adjournment. Section 5, which should be section 6, right?
Yes.
Section 6, any ordinance or parts of ordinance in conflict herewith are hereby repealed to the extent of such conflict. Section 7, that the provisions of this resolution are hereby declared to be severable, and if any section, phrase, or provision shall be declared or held invalid, such invalidity shall not affect the remainder of the sections, phrases, or provisions. Passes and adopted this 16th day of January 2020.
Thank you.
I move we adopt the resolution.
With the necessary corrections. I second.
Chris Foster,
Yes.
Louis Short,
Yes.
Jim Lang,
Yes.
Ally Sugg,
Yes.
Paula Sworn,
Yes.
Sharon Williams,
Yes.
Casey Griffin.
Yes.
Motion carried. Nancy, the press is here. Next item, ordinance for cleaning the municipal building. We have three different situations here where city employees have relatives or have businesses that the city does business with. And so we have to do ordinances to approve for those transactions. And the first one is for cleaning the municipal building. And it's, does anybody want to read this ordinance?
I'll read it.
Okay.
01.
Thank you.
2001.
Ordinance number, is it 2020-01?
2001.
An ordinance authorizing the city of Heber Springs to conduct business with Kiera Gibbs, prescribing the extent of said authority and for other purposes. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Heber Springs, Arkansas as follows. Section 1. Kiera Gibbs is related to David Gibbs, Heber Springs City Treasurer. Section 2. In accordance with Arkansas Code annotated 14-42-107B1, the City Council hereby authorizes the mayor to contract with Kiera Gibbs for cleaning services despite any direct or indirect benefit David Gibbs may derive from said contract. Section 3. The authority granted herein to the mayor to contract with Kiera Gibbs shall be limited in scope and time to cleaning services not to exceed $6,000 per year. Approved the 16th day of January 2020. I move that we accept this ordinance.
Second.
Nancy?
Jim Lang,
Yes.
Louis Short,
Yes.
Chris Foster,
Yes.
Casey Griffin,
Yes.
Sharon Williams,
Yes.
Wallace Moore,
Yes?
Ally Sutton.
Yes.
Motion carried. Next item is ordinance for Ally Sugg, the lake radio station. And somebody other than Ally would read that ordinance, please.
I volunteer since she's my neighbor,
2020-02.
and it's short. An ordinance authorizing the city of Heber Springs to conduct business with Red River Radio Incorporated, prescribing to the extent of said authority and for other purposes. Be it ordained by the City Council of Heber Springs, Arkansas as follows. Section 1. Red River Radio is a business in which council member Ally Sugg is executive managerial office and ownership interest. Section 2. Accordance with the Arkansas Code annotated section 1442-107B1, the City Council hereby authorizes the mayor to contract with Red River Radio, Inc. despite any indirect benefit council member Ally Suggs may derive from said business. The authority granted herein to the mayor to conduct business with Red River Radio, Inc. shall be limited in scope, time, and cost to the purchase of radio airtime related to advertising, promotion of community events to the city of Heber Springs, also at a total cost not to exceed $5,000.
I move we accept the ordinance.
Second.
Jim Lang,
Yes.
Louis Short,
Yes.
Chris Foster,
Yes.
Casey Griffin,
Yes.
Sharon Williams,
Yes.
Wallace Moore,
Yes.
Ally Sutton.
Abstain.
Motion carried. Next item is an ordinance for Tubby Tees. They do screen printing and other type advertising. And they have in uniforms for the sports programs, kids' sports programs.
Do we have to
And-
list the employees since we've done it on the other?
Huh?
Do we need to list the employee names since it's not on this ordinance? We did the other two.
It,
We don't have to
it
list.
says that Tubby Tees and Broiling should be, is a business part-time employee of the Heber Springs Fire Department. I don't know if we need to mention Tanner's name on there or not.
I think Tanner has it, I think Taylor has it in Tanner on the fire. And he's like an officer.
Yeah.
Terry's the one who did the ordinance.
I'm just checking because the others were just happening.
I'm not so sure that, I think if we can't, I don't know if we can put in, part-time employee Tanner Tubbs of the city council, of the Heber Springs Fire Department. Could implement that in there.
She said she can change it.
Okay.
Put part-time employee Taylor,
Tanner.
Tanner?
Tanner.
Okay.
That should fix that.
Okay.
Do we have a motion?
Oh, we
We need to read
I'm
it.
sorry, huh?
want to read it?
Yeah.
I'll read it. Ordinance 2020-03, an ordinance authorizing the city of Heber Springs to conduct business with Tubby Tees Embroidery and Screen Printing LLC, prescribing the extent of said authority and for other purposes. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Heber Springs, Arkansas as follows. Section 1, Tubby Tees Embroidery and Screen Printing LLC is a business in which a part-time employee, Tanner Tubbs, of the City of Heber Springs Fire Department owns an interest. Section 2, in accordance with Arkansas Code annotated Section 14-42-107B1, the City Council hereby authorizes the mayor to contract with Tubby Tees Embroidery and Screen Printing LLC, embroidery and screen printing services and products. Section 3, the authority granted herein to the mayor to conduct business with Tubby Tees Embroidery and Screen Printing LLC shall be limited in scope, time, and cost to the purchase of t-shirts, uniforms for sports, embroidery, screen printing, and related services at a total annual cost not to exceed $22,000. Dated the 16th day of January 2020.
Move to accept.
Second.
Nancy?
Ally Sugg,
Yes.
Paula Thorne,
Yes.
Sharon Williams,
Yes.
Casey Griffin,
Yes.
Chris Foster,
Yes.
Louis Short,
Yes.
and Jim Lake.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I guess y'all still have it on your agenda. We were gonna table Hurley Lawn Service, that item, and the next item for the street fund to be moved to a different account, and so, we can address that at the next meeting. Okay, the next item is the state of the city. I'm proud to say that Heber Springs is financially sound. We had a good year and we've made some great strides throughout the year. Our total fund balance is $2,377,897. The council has submitted a balanced budget for 2020. I'm going to do this by department, kind of talk about what our goals are for 2020 and some of our accomplishments during this year. Parks Department, headed by Stacy Mills and Chris Kramer. I want to thank them for their great job that they do. This year we completed the bathrooms in Spring Park, as well as the drainage in the middle well house, which contains 3 of the wells, the clearing of Sandy Beach for additional sand, and culverts for the trail, and the rehabbing of the trails. We rebuilt several of the trails during some of the heavy rains, and we look forward to those being completed this year. The ballpark, this year we put new canopies around the parks, which was a $30,000 replacement, and those are warranted for 10 years.
10 years.
Okay. The barn roof we fixed and replaced, and over the office we replaced that roof as well. Painting of the towers inside. There are blocks on the light poles, on the bottom of the light poles were falling off. We had to replace 50-something of those blocks that were very dangerous. And we continue to patch and fix on the sprinkler system, and we continue to maintain the ball fields, the baseball fields as well as the soccer field. Aquatics, we rented man lifts. They were very difficult to get around in that pool. And Stacy, thanks to Stacy and his crew, we repaired the motors that for the retracting roof. We had to fix a couple of the panels, and we replaced all the lighting in the aquatic center with plastic fixtures, so we shouldn't have any of the rusting issues anymore. And we also replaced over 100 bulbs in the gymnasium. The community center, they have just completed their new software with Civics Plus, and now we're accepting credit cards for memberships and registration for the sports and the room rentals as well as your memberships. So that was a big move. We had a lot of problem with asking people to go home and get cash. That just wasn't the right way to do business. The next accomplishments that we're looking forward to in 2020 will be to fix the last well house in Spring Park and to rehab the skateboard park. The trail expansion, Greers Ferry Lake Trail Council, we work very close with them, and we're responsible for maintaining those trails. They just received a grant for $150,000 for a bridge to be built across almost an 80-foot span that goes across the First Security property down off of Biddle Road. That will be the connection point for this trail, and I can see once that's completed that this trail will move very fast, and that's going to be exciting for the community. The Sandy Beach, this year we're looking forward to doing some more clearing, putting in 2 more volleyball courts, some more lighting for the courts as well as kind of in the grove, and some locations for some food trucks. I think we're going to build a great atmosphere down there that'll be very beneficial to our tourists and local folks alone. We're working on additional tournaments, basketball, softball, baseball, and soccer. The more tournaments we have, the more folks we have in town that spend money at restaurants and hotels, and so that's been a great thing for us. It's very difficult to run some of these tournaments, but our crew stays up very late at night and does a great job, so I appreciate that. Our programs at the community center, sports and exercise classes, we're always continuing to try to bring in new classes, new type things that are always coming up. We've had a couple of new dance classes. The last one, I don't know, what is it, Stacy? And but it's starting to grow, and we're excited about it. So we're talking about changing the age limits to get into the community center to a lower age, to where we are not considered a senior citizens community center, to where it's more conducive to having children, and that's a like I said, that's something that we're gonna change. I don't know exactly what the ages will be and how we'll do that, but I think it's gonna help the center immensely. We are looking at putting cameras in most of our parks. We seem to keep having vandalism, so we're gonna have cameras all over this community and to hopefully curtail some of that. Definitely going to continue to have different programs to increase the membership at the center. It has grown quite a bit just this last year. I think we tailed off a little bit 2 years ago, and now they're gaining memberships back. We had a letter the other day that couldn't have been nicer from a member of our community center that praised the ladies at the front counter, the cleanliness of the facility, and how proud they were to be a part of it, and how lucky we are as a community. And they also donated $500 to the community center. So that just speaks volumes for our staff, and we're very proud of that. Aquatic rehab, we're going to close 2 weeks in April. I don't know what those dates are, Stacy?
The 6th through the 17th.
6th to the 17th.
Yeah.
We will paint the deck. We will paint the entrance floor. We will paint some of the beams. We will replace some of the wooden doors that are in the facility. We'll have to replace some of the couple of metal doors and just paint and clean the whole facility. It's a huge job. I've been through it before, but it's part of maintaining the professional quality service that we have. And so that's the last thing we're going to do is let these facilities go downhill. So that's the Parks Department, and they're also working with the county and their website to encourage tourists to come to the community center and to enjoy the parks and the Bridalveil Falls and the other amenities that we have. The airport, this past year we rehabbed the runway, overlaid the runway. We just finished a fuel farm that is really classy, really helpful. I know Charlie's excited to have it completed. I think our fuel sales will go up quite a bit just because of the convenience of it. We've got a new beacon, and we will be moving the beacon. We haven't done that yet. And then the trees that are down in the flight path that we talked about earlier. This next year, we're going to be banking some of the funding that we get for crack repair, sealing, and remarking the taxiway. Charlie, when is that going to be for?
That probably will occur late summer.
Yeah.
We've got to get the design, and get the bid in, and then go for the grant.
Right.
We're probably 6 months away.
Yeah. Okay. But we are going to start banking some of our money. We get $150,000 a year from FAA, and we'll bank that to. At some point, we're going to have to move that taxiway, and at some point, hopefully, we'll have enough jet traffic in here to expand that runway. But there is some real estate that we're going to have to purchase along the way if we have to move the taxiway. Public Works, and Charlie, thank you. Public Works, this year we bought a new recycle truck. We bought the year before last, we bought 2 new garbage trucks. We have a new commercial garbage truck this year. We're applying for several 2020 grants. We're looking at having to replace a grapple truck. This year we are going to focus on potholes in these streets more than we have in the past. We've applied for $250,000 worth of street aid. We received that 3 years ago, and $250,000 doesn't go very far. but it's very helpful on some of our streets that don't have to be totally repaved. Drainage, working on with the highway department on Highway 110 through town on Main Street. We did 4th Street. We put in a new 20-inch culvert under the road, which was the old rock culverts that we had down there. So that was the first one. They claim that they're going to get to 3rd Street here very soon, and then I'm going to try to get them to go underneath where the music store is. It's a bad spot. It's that same old rock. That's a box culvert there. That's a really big project. So hopefully we'll get them to do that, because they are going to overlay Highway 7 coming down from the bypass. They'll come all the way down Highway 7. They'll turn on 110, go to 2nd Street, and then go almost to Aromatique with the relays. Overlay. So that'll be a great project. But I sure would like to get some of this drainage issues out of the way so we don't have to tear up some new asphalt. Box culverts, we installed 6 box culverts this year, which through a FEMA claim, almost $300,000. And this last storm we had, they were working very well. It's moving the water, and we hope that we can address this further down on Main Street as well. So, but that only cost us 25% of the total cost with the FEMA claims, if we'll ever get paid. And then bridge repair, Hollowell, we have some riprap to put underneath the bridge. Nothing major, but Hollowell Bridge, 8th Street Bridge, and East Main Bridge have some work to do for them too. And I'd like to thank Scott Hadley, our supervisor at Public Works. What a wonderful job he's done. The Water Department. The utility continues its ongoing efforts towards infrastructure replacement. Since 2009, they've spent almost a little over $2 million on water rehabilitation and $833,000 on sewer rehabilitation projects. Planned for 2020, both crews will be focusing on sewer rehab for the fiscal year 2020. Water is needed. The maintenance crew will continue to rehab and upgrade any problems in the distribution system. Continued testing, replacement and additions of water valves throughout the water distribution system, and check and service the utility fire hydrants annually. Sewer. The sewer rehab crew is currently installing an 8-inch sewer main approximately 600 feet on Colonial Street to replace an old 8-inch sewer main. The sewer crew will also replace a 6-inch concrete sewer main between 4th Street and 6th Street to reduce inflow in that area, as well as a major rehab of all sewer piping in the Westgate, Ely, and Pine area. The water treatment plant, they're doing some wonderful, wonderful things they have for the last few years with this microfiltration. At some point in the next few years, they will actually probably do away with those big water troughs that you see by the school. These microfiltration systems do a wonderful job and handle a lot more water than currently. Treatment plant will receive an upgrade and repairs if needed. Currently, the only major upgrade in the near future is another microfiltration unit that will be used. 2019 bond issue would finance that. A new PLC unit, as well as other small modern upgrades to the treatment plant are planned as well. Also, the new pump house and tank that y'all have seen next to the water department's office. That should be completed early this year, and that will allow more water to Tumbling Shoals and Mountaintop Water Association, as well as provide a tank that will allow the decommissioning of the Round Mountain water tank. New elevated storage tank by the bypass will be completed in the next few months. I don't know if y'all seen that.
Yeah.
And Water Department, we've been working well together, and they're going to spend quite a bit of extra money to put our logo on that tank, our new logo. So that'll be fun to see. And that water tank also provides more water to Tumbling Shoals, as well as a backup water supply for the hospital and surrounding areas. Wastewater treatment plant, the new wastewater treatment plant, they're working on a facility that will include the 2019 bond. The approximate cost of that new facility is $6.2 million. It should start late 2020. The wastewater plant will replace approximately 6 lift station panels in 2020, and other upgrades such as pumps and coating of lift stations will be completed as needed. So that's very excited that we're ahead of the curve in all of our water and wastewater efforts. The police department, Chief Brian Hale, thank you for the great job you've done this first year, and glad you're going to stay with us. It's just been 1 year, hasn't it? Dispatch has moved out of the building. They occupied this building for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And now that they're out, we don't have anybody in this facility all the time, so we're working on security, building security as we speak. There's been key fobs to get in all these doors. We're going to put in a wall with a camera and a glass door coming in, so they'll have to get access through the front door of the city hall. Won't be the most convenient thing, but security is something that we've got to address. So, this year we plan on maintaining and improving on the appearance of our vehicle fleet. It makes a great first impression within our city. We'll continue education for our officers and looking at a new program to maintain and oversee all of the personnel records and policies. We'll be hiring a new officer in the coming months. That will be replacing a slot that was left by Sergeant Newby. Taking applications now, I believe. And so if y'all know anybody interested in job in law enforcement, please send them our way. 2 new sergeants, Sergeant Stephen Griffin in criminal investigation and Sergeant Josh Haley in the patrol division. They're 2 new sergeants. Dan Malone has been moved to criminal investigations, and we'll be sending him to interview schools. He's also interested in grant writing and helping the department in that aspect. SWAT team is training on a monthly basis, and we're coordinating with the school district to keep their armed security familiar with police department personnel. Officer Gracie will be going to sniper training course hopefully this year. We have a new canine, Luca, I believe is her name. She's handled by Corporal Burris, and so it's been a good dog. We had a little issues with our last one, but it's a great asset for the city. Department issued handguns were purchased in 2019, and the officers seem to be pleased with them. We passed our Department of Defense inspection for our rifles, and upon expanding on the use of the Law Enforcement Support Office for our equipment needs. Samantha Tharp has taken over administrative secretary, replacing Becky Peter, who had to leave for health reasons. We'll really miss Becky. We have planned changes. Officers, we're looking at be allowed to use outer carriers for body armor in the summer months that are supposed to be far more comfortable and cooler than the vests that they have to wear under there. And Chief Robitel, our fire chief, is helping Chief Hale with some grant opportunities for vehicles and taser equipment. So we're glad they're working together. It's been a real pleasure with our supervisor meetings and how much we're working together and how much we're planning together and evaluating our procedures and our processes. So I think that's been very beneficial, and I appreciate you guys' input. The fire department, Chief Jason Robitel and Code Enforcement Officer Doug Perry. We can't thank them enough for all their efforts. 2020 immediate plan is to organizational restructure. Doug is now fire marshal, captain, engineer, and firefighter. Conduct a needs assessment. They're in that process as we speak. Implement new fire records management system. Draft the department's SOP and SOGs. Clean and maintain all facilities and equipment. Develop equipment replacement plan. A private-public partnership with EMS. Improve response times for the fire department. Update antiquated rope rescue equipment. Purchase and train 6 certified rescue divers. I believe that's already been completed, hasn't it, Doug?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Excuse me. Surplus aging utility pickup and purchase new command utility vehicle. Develop community outreach program. New website, social media, and public appearance for all community events. Develop departmental mission, vision, and core value. Enhance training program to include guest speaker and multi-agency participation. Develop annual preventive maintenance programs, annual flow testing. Conduct annual safety inspections for all businesses. They've done a good job. I know Doug and Jason both have gone into a lot of the businesses and assessed where their computers are, or they can, and where their important items are. So they have a fire, they can run in, get the computers, they know where they are, they're located on a diagram that we keep in-house, where, you know, they can pull out receivables or whatever that might keep a business alive if they lost those type of items. Develop process for abandoned structures. We did good last year. We took down, I think, 11 abandoned structures, and that's the most I think we've taken down in 20 years. So we're gonna be very aggressive on that program, and it takes a lot of legal work sometimes, a lot of talking to owners and working together. So I'm glad that's going well. We are getting ready to be finished with our stormwater and our nuisance ordinance. Isn't that right, Doug? And then we're working on some grants for and we've budgeted for a new thermal imaging cameras. 2020 needs for the fire department. I won't get into all of them because there's always more needs than we can afford. But we increased our staffing by 1 full-time firefighter and 1 part-time. Isn't that correct? Yeah. We had antiquated rope rescue equipment. I think we're fully replaced most of that. We've trained 6 certified rescue divers, and so I appreciate all the work they've done. Come a long way in 1 year with new leadership. So I'm really proud of all of our employees. The city employees are doing an incredible job. We want to expand on every employee, their training, safety training, job training. Without the city employee, the city outcomes would not succeed. Our accomplishments is totally because of the wonderful employees in each department and their dedication for public service. In 2020, we look forward to a vision that's clearly defined, improving our community as a quality of place, supporting retail, healthcare, education, nonprofits, public safety, as well as economic growth. The city's committed to this vision, and along with the county, we have the opportunity to grow and prosper in this coming year. So God bless Heber Springs. Thank you. Announcements? Anybody have any announcements? One thing I did forget. Thank you, City Council. I really appreciate all y'all's work and efforts, and it's been a pleasure working with you.
Thank you.
All of y'all. Casey, you always have announcements.
Working on
have
Spring
one.
Fest.
Next
got-
month, we're
I've
going
got
to
a few here.
Municipal League. And I just attended a class yesterday in advanced finance. Pretty hairy trip down there since you couldn't see 15 feet in front of you and you meet cars with no lights on. But anyway, I got there and got back alive. David Gibbs and I both went. It was informative. One thing I would like to address is I got a thing in my mailbox from some committee. They failed to mention their names, so I can't address who they were. But they made some cheap shots of what I thought were members of the council. One was secret meetings, so I'll inform them. Secret meetings behind closed doors is called executive session, where we have to discuss either an employee or elected official. When the executive session is over, the mayor will come out and announce if a decision was made. The other thing that I'd like to address was they mentioned how ambulance service should be run and this, that, and the other, but you know, I never did try to tell my daddy how to make children. And I'm going to tell an ambulance service that's in 38 states what they ought to do here. That's all I'm going to say on the matter. I could go on a little further, but next time you put something in my mailbox, put your name on there, I'll talk to you. But accusing me of being secretive and then you won't put your name on something kind of gets my hackles up a little bit. I was in the Army. They didn't teach me how to retreat. They taught me how to fight. If you don't talk to me, come and talk to me, whoever you are.
Okay, Jim, I think we got our 3 minutes.
All right.
The chamber banquet, one thing I will say about Jim, he's got 126 hours of certified municipal training. He is a level 1, and so he's been very very dedicated to training, so I appreciate that. Chamber banquet is February 6th. It's at the they call it the Barn Pine Mountain Barn. It's at 6 o'clock. It's at 5:30 on February 6th. Y'all, we have to also. I want to remind everybody, this is the year of the 2020 census. It's very, very important that we don't take that lightly, because there's a lot of funding that comes with proper, numbers with the census. So it's really important that that we fill that census out. So March 20th, I thought I'd mention this because I don't know if we'll have a meeting before that or not, but the Senior Citizens Catfish Dinner is at the Community Center on the 20th. And then baseball and softball registration is going on now, and it goes through February 10th, I believe. So anybody's got kids or grandkids that need to sign up, make sure they get that done before the 10th. Anybody else?
Is a member of the press here.
Yes.
Would you come see me? I've got some information for you need to know.
Sure.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Need open mic?
Wait, open
Oh,
mic.
I'm sorry, yeah, open mic.
I'd just like to make a comment about Main Street. You're saying all these drains and everything. Why don't they take a foot or a foot and a half out of the center of the street so these stores don't get flooded? And I'm not an engineer, I'm just making a suggestion. But if you stand at the stores, you can see we got a big hump. Probably's been resurfaced many years,
Well,
many times.
Hopefully, they're going to,
Are they gonna grade
they're
it
gonna
down?
mill the highway when they repave. So that'll help,
All right,
yeah.
okay.
It's got about 13 inches asphalt.
I don't think it will.
Yeah, that, see,
Now,
what he
Eddie,
said, 13
it's-
inches of asphalt, they're not gonna grind that off. You need a bulldozer in there.
But it's a state highway. Eddie, it's a state highway.
Yeah, but the mayor has power to stop them until they fix it right.
No, you
No, I can't, no, I don't.
tell the state what to do.
We'd have sidewalks all the way to the bypass. Can't do that.
When is that planned, the Main Street, when is that planned?
Well, I hope it'll be in the heat of the summer, because that's when it's, you know, when it adheres to the ground best. But they said it was gonna be last year, and then we got pushed to this year, so I'm not gonna make a call on that. But I do think that it'll be when the conditions are right, when the
When the
weather's right.
traffic is
so.
nice.
But,
Yeah, well, yeah, 4th of July weekend.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, they won't do that. They normally work with
let's
us.
not hurt the tourists.
Yeah, no, we'll make sure that doesn't happen.
But it needs to be done badly.
Oh, yeah, yes, it does.
I wanted to say, Jimmy, we thank you for doing a wonderful job as the mayor, and thank you for the report of the city, and we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Doing a lot.
Yeah, I'd like to
Yes.
thank you for putting up with me.
Thank you. Well, it's the greatest community in the world, as far as I'm concerned. And we're just so fortunate to have each other. And I wish we could do more, faster. You know, that dollar bill gets in the way. But it's just a pleasure being a servant. So, and I feel like we all feel the same way. So it's not me. Thank you.
Thank you. Motion to adjourn?
Motion?
Second?